everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dlight Sair, the podcast for everything Brawlhalla. My name is Taza, if you did not already know, and I will be one of your two hosts for today's show, my co-host being none other than Boomie.
Yo, that's me, dude.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing amazing, man. And I'm joined by the two premier Brawlhalla casters, who is Sparky and Duke X fam.
Wow.
Whoa, why did Sparky come first in that
That's
list?
my man. That's my man right there.
Yeah.
This is not what's in the script.
Purposefully changed the intro for that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm biased for him when on commentary. That right there. That's why.
Alright, so we got a brief section of news, and then we're gonna be talking everything LDZ, historical to current. Let's get it done.
Sure, I'll just go through the news really quickly. New legend reveal, Thor, God of Thunder. With Orb.
And Hammer. I mean, his SIGs look really cool, dude.
Yeah, they do.
Did you see them, Sparky?
No, I didn't.
What the dude?
Wow, you don't watch the dev streams? guy?
Look, I'm a busy man. I got stuff to do. I just recently moved. Okay, I just got internet really set up yesterday, so it's not my fault.
You got the internet set up specifically for the show, actually.
Yeah, like we made it happen for today.
Otherwise-
For Dlight Sair.
No, yeah, the Thor reveal video was pretty cool. I like the moment where the music stopped because he had to go back to the stage to get his jumps back before he could continue the combo. That really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Anyways, that happened. He'll be coming up pretty soon. New Orb Legend, the third one that I think that's coming up after Dusk and Fate. We just talked about him on last week's show. March of Legends EU, an online tournament with I think it's $1,000 prize pool. The EU tournament's gonna be happening tomorrow. It's this weekend, so catch that. A lot of I think the 4 European players that'll be coming to final round next week are going to that. Speaking of which, final round is next week. We had an entire episode 0, where we talked about that. If you want to see a little bit about our bracket predictions, all 4 of us are going to be there. 3 of us are going to be casting, maybe 4 if Boomie.
Yeah, I'm done.
You're probably gonna get knocked out of the bracket like around the 64. You gotta have something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be casting his pool.
Dude, imagine. Oh my god.
And last thing for tournaments is DreamHack Dallas registration is open. Brawlhalla, the Twitter, just tweeted that out. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly the weekend when it's happening, but sometime in the summer.
5/31 to 6/2 in the year 2019.
Thank you so much, Sparky, for finding that.
That's May 31st to June 2nd.
It's like essentially like last year was DreamHack Austin, and now it's Dallas. So it's not like there's gonna be both. It's just and that's it. That's all we got for news. Boomie, why don't you lead us into the primary topic of discussion for today?
Okay, so we got LDZ.
Who is LDZ? What is this?
Who is LDZ?
What does LDZ stand for?
Is the... No, I don't want to reveal that, dude.
This is important. We can't start off talking about...
Wait, do you actually know? Do you know?
The acronym without... I might know.
I know something he said at one point. I don't know if that's actually what it stood for, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, well, okay, it's like...
It's like some secret cult.
No, it's...
God,
like... you're so dumb. Okay, it's like... Shut up.
Okay, fine.
Okay, it's the initials of his 3 siblings and him. Of his 2 siblings and him. Yeah, so it's LD and then Z for Zach, which is him. Well, yeah.
Sorry, Sparky just shared
That's the one that I thought it was.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's the one that I always bring up and say that I can't say that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't... God, Taz, you're so dumb, actually.
Hey, you know what? I was just trying to get into it from the start. Sorry that it didn't work out that well.
Do you know, like, for like the first half of a year that we knew him, everyone thought it was Lick D's nuts. You know that? Like Lick and then DEEZ. Why are you shaking your head? Why are you shaking your head?
Nuts starts with an N, bro.
What?
So
yeah, because it. Wait.
No.
You realize there's no N in LDZ, right? I just say it real slow. You'll figure it out.
Lick D.
It's only 3 letters.
Like D. Like DEEZ. Like Lick D. Do you not get it?
No, I definitely get it.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought the Z came from the end of nuts because you.
That's what I thought you were saying. Yeah.
But I guess
that too. Yeah. See, it's like the exactly, dude. Exactly.
So LDZ.
What do you mean
Whose
what?
name will remain undefined. Who is he? Why are we talking about this guy nowadays? I think a lot of newer players that are watching or tuning in or watch tournaments now probably don't know as much about the hype as LDZ as there was in the past. So where do you think we should get started, Boomie?
Well, we could start with like all the way back, or we could start about like why he's important now. Actually, we can work our way back. Just like brief things. So like LDZ is important because he's the 2-time back-to-back world champion in 1v1.
The 2-time?
Yeah, the 2-time, and we've only had 3.
Almost 3-time.
Yeah.
After not playing for an entire year.
Yeah.
That was horrifying.
Dude, if you won again.
I remember running around at DreamHack Atlanta to people and being like, I'm really scared because I think LDZ is going to win again. Yeah. And and the reason why I was saying this is because he didn't play at all that year. And there was no reason to think that he was going to win anything.
And that's kind of the same thing that happened in 2017.
Yeah, that's what happened in 2017.
Yeah, was he really didn't play that much. Like he won Winter Champs, teaming with you in 2s, but he didn't win once because I think you won once.
No, he won once. He won one. He won winter, spring. He won winter and spring in 2017.
Because he was looking to be the like seasonal champion the way that STDP Wilson was. And
then he just like didn't enter stuff or entered stuff and then like DQ'd out or just straight up didn't play. And that was the big question mark is he going to be able to do it again? And yeah, he did it again.
Yeah. I think he actually overslept Summers.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I won't debate you because that's quite possibly what really happened.
He overslept some major. Yeah, that was bad. And he was actually going into 2017, like during the early half, like he was projected to win everything until he like last second couldn't go to CEO. He was on track to win every major.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then 2018, yeah, he didn't play at all. Well, he did. I think maybe a little.
Well, and to like we did work our way back pretty well, and to emphasize like the reason why we said the oversleep thing was because a lot of these majors in 2017 and 2016 were online. There was not nearly as many stops. We have so many land stops this year, but back when he was dominating everything, it was because they were online weekend tournaments.
Yeah.
In fact, what was the land situation before 2016, the first world championship that existed in that he won?
I don't think there was. It was
Right.
like
Combo breaker
Breaker
and final round.
Combo Breaker was 2017, correct?
Yeah.
No, well, it was 2016 too.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was like the first
Luxury
major.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when EU had a chance.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, that region. But yeah, that was pretty cool because it was like, online tournaments were so rough because we didn't even have EU online tournaments. We had NA online tournaments that EU players entered in and placed in because
that was
so
those early Gravy Cancel Sundays
yeah.
were EU and NA players in the same bracket. And I mean, that kind of also carries along with LDZ's because he was a West player. He did have ping disadvantage to the East servers. So the only time he really got to play on West servers was when he would run up against US West players in bracket because it had to be a mutual agreement. So it was like Blood Diamond
and Jellyfish.
It was Mother Russia and it was Jellyfish. And that was the only time that he didn't have a significant ping advantage. Not quite the same ping disadvantage as EU to NA, but still very significant.
Whoa, I never thought about that. But I remember Mother Russia always having a very good time against LDZ. Like their matches always looked scary. Like out of all the players that I saw him fight against, that Mother Russia did the best in bracket, and that may be part of the reason why.
Yes.
I never even thought about that.
So if we like run it back to then, I mean, there's like a super famous clip in the Brawlhalla community of Blood Diamond fighting Crocky, and it's basically like Blood Diamond's on Koji and Crocky's just like playing. And so it's like last hit red, right? Blood Diamond literally teleports on top of Crocky because they can't see, like the ping, like they literally just teleport. Now it's like the person that's farther away has like more input lag and stuff, and like they lag, but it used to be like mutual, like everyone would lag, and that's why like, well that's not like why he won, but that definitely had a factor in like why he could win.
And talking about possible disadvantage, he was on 30 hertz for a while.
Oh
right?
My god!
Wasn't he on 24?
Was it ever figured out if he's at more of a disadvantage on 30 versus 60, or was it just like, has there been any
He was on 30 hertz.
definitive about that?
I don't know.
I don't think he was on 30 hertz. If he was on 30 hertz, that's really sad, actually. I think he was just on 60.
Yeah, that's the story, is that like back in 2016, 2017, is he was on 30, and I swear someone said 24 at one point.
I know somebody who is on 24. But it's not LDZ.
I'm inclined to believe this because if you... Has everyone in here been in a call with LDZ back when like he first started being able to use a microphone? He like had this like setup where like
he used his phone.
He was talking through a phone.
Yeah, he has his LDZ phone Discord.
And it would like crackle and pop as if like something was like trying very hard to get through like this really thin tube to like get his voice to it. Like he had some strange archaic devices for technology that he somehow managed to make work and play video games with. Yeah. So I kind of believe that he was on a 24 hertz monitor.
It's not 24. It's like minimum 30.
Minimum 30.
Okay, whatever. I'm actually over it. That's insane.
Anyways, that's just something to mention because I think if we look back at the old brackets, there were tournaments. There were NA tournaments. We had EU grand finals. We had like Dobrain and EXO and the Luxury playing. I think one of the most famous sets that came from back when I was still hosting Gravy Cancel was a Dobrain Pugsy best of 5 that went to game 10 in grand finals just because they were so close, but also because the netcode was different back then. The game was different too, but I digress. Yes, the LDZ distance thing was strange, but going back to 2016, besides Combo Breaker, all online.
Yep. And he won every single major. Literally every single major, I'm pretty sure. He won. Mm-hmm. Every BCS. I think there were 4 2v2, 3 1v1, maybe 4 1v1, but he definitely won them all.
Not 2v2 though.
Yeah, not 2v2.
Yeah,
he won the last 2v2. He won the last 2v2.
Yeah.
And he propelled that into second place at BCX. Okay, we'll get there later.
He didn't win BCS season 0 either.
Oh
Pugsy
yeah, that was Pugsy.
But he did do second. That's when him and Pugsy were like neck and neck, kind of like they were going back and forth. BCS was usually on Saturday, Gravy Cancel was usually on Sunday, and they would go back and forth from Saturday to Sunday. Pugsy would take a lot of BCSs, and then LDZ would wake up on Sunday, and he would end up taking Gravy Cancel. So that was like when Pugsy was at probably prime and the highest that he's ever been in his career, and they were just kind of trading back and forth, and it was really cool to watch.
Yeah.
LDZ like dominated Gravy Cancel. Wasn't he on like a win streak?
Yeah, we checked before like the show. He was on like 7, 8 maybe. He won back to back.
His highest win streak in singles was 5
for
Gravy Cancel from January, February, March, April, May, June 19th to July 16th. 5 in a row. Then he also had 2 win streaks of 3 and 4 win streaks of 2.
Wow.
And most of the times where he wasn't winning, he was very close. Or something weird happened. Or like he probably... I think there was a few tournaments where he just had to leave in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Yes, there were definitely a couple tournaments where like he didn't even make top 8, and I'm guessing based off of the score that was on the challenge brackets, it was always like 0 to 1, or there was like a -1 there, signifying a DQ. So pretty much if he didn't do 4th or better, it was usually because he had to leave and do something else.
So when oh, go ahead, Duke.
Wasn't he also the one who like in a grand finals against like Starlight back when he was still Twilight, he like lost in the upper bracket, went down, ate a Snicker, and then went to win.
Yeah.
The only way he could lose was because he was hungry. Like that was the story.
Yeah, he was insane. Like back then, it was uncontested, basically, like his dominance.
So, running it all the way back, before Koji came out, LDZ was a Queen 9. He was one of the Queen 9s, right?
Yeah.
I think this was during the time where it was kind of like there was the 2 legends everybody hated was Hattori and Queen 9, right? But in competitive as Queen 9, Wilson was iconic for like not moving, never going off stage, always side-sigging, and killing people in orange and just knocking out tournament favorites left and right. And then LDZ came up. Oh god, now I'm thinking about it. There's so many cool storylines. I think LDZ came up in NA and Multimum came up in EU, and they were both playing Queen Nai and kind of doing the same thing where people were like, yeah, this player is doing something, but
this Queen Nai, yeah.
It's just Queen Eye, and then they just kept getting better.
Mhm.
What was it that LDZ did different? Why was I trying to bring that up?
So
I guess I was trying to think about like. Oh, go ahead.
He did a lot more than Wilson did.
yeah,
Yes.
Like he would attack a lot, and he didn't dodge very much. He was doing like a lot of things back then that other people weren't doing, but that people are still doing now. Like in his first Gravy Cancel, according to like all the challenge archives and everything, that was January 3rd, 2016, and he did get 9th, tying with like Antipop, Nexus, Railer, all big players at the
those
time.
guys are crazy.
And he was doing things like he was slide charging, he was using his chase dodge forward and trying to feint an attack. His opponent would either dodge or throw out an attack, and then he would immediately punish. Like people are still doing that now. He was doing all of these like higher level moves that other people weren't doing at the time that are still highly coveted right now. Like he was maintaining stage control, and I know there are people who wanted to maintain stage control back then, but nobody had it in their vocabulary back then like they do now.
Yeah.
So it was his like raw talent of knowing what things are important, even if he's not executing them 100%. He knows that they're a focus and that they're really important.
Yeah, and I think like another thing that he did is he found things that he thought were really broken and he just abused them. Like the first thing that comes to mind is Guitar Nair. Like
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what made LDZ propel like super far forward. I remember like Guitar Nair used to deal like crazy amounts of damage. Like, actually crazy amounts of damage. It's nerfed to like
used to be bigger too.
yeah, the hitbox used to be bigger. It's nerfed to around 11, I think now. It used to deal like 20.
And then Queen Eye stat.
Yeah, that too.
And
Could you
movement
that was
speed.
the
multi-hit with
thing.
it?
Oh,
Could
go
you
ahead.
multi-hit with it back in the day? The way that you could...
No, I don't think you can. No.
But I think like cooldowns weren't as big
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
hamper back then. So like so many of his edge guards were just nair. And then he would finish it up with a Sair for the stronger kill potential that it had, either turning it around, sending them away from the stage, or bouncing them off the stage. Like that was pretty much his vocabulary for edge guards. It was really strong positioning and then absolutely abusing and exploiting nair as best as he possibly could.
Also finishing with gravity cancel side save on guitars a lot. Like he would do those things where he would catch people trying to recover diagonally falling and hit them with like the tip of the energy. I remember seeing that all the time where I was kind of like, wow, I can't believe he thought to do that and it hit. I remember that leaving an impression on me all the time. His offstage game is incredible, and that's like also important to note because back then there was no ledge slip stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like the ledge was very poisonous, I guess, back in the day with the things that you could do on it and how you could trick people. So he was just straight up like being like, you can't be safe on the wall even though you can touch it forever because I will kill you there. That is kind, and the Guitar Nair really contributed to that.
Yeah, and
going into his Koji, that's what I always stood out to me was like he would do Sair into Dare with the bow, and I'd just be like, you're breaking bow. He was the only person using bow, and I'd be like, you're showing this weapon to be broken.
yeah, I honestly think like that's kind of LDZ's like key like trait as a player. Like his edge guards, it feels like he hits them like almost every time, and like back then it felt like every time. Like he'd hit you off stage and you were dead. I remember him edgeguarding Twilight like over and over and over, like so many times.
I was watching through some of the old Gravy Cancel archives, and it was just over and over Taza saying, "How did he get back from that?
Yeah, that too. His recovery was crazy.
How did he get back from that?"
I didn't get it. I really did it because I would look at this and I'm like, this is it. This is the part where he stretched too far every time.
So LDZ. Go ahead. Okay, I'll go ahead. So LDZ was the first person that popularized dodging first, so that you get your dodge back by the time that you were like about to recover the stage, and that's key like in off stage play now. But he's the first person that did that.
Like there were times when he was off stage and he would go like in the little magnifying glass and get so close to that edge that it would play the kill noise, but he didn't actually die. It would still play like that sound effect, but he would still make it back up. Like he was that close. And I don't know if it was server desync or what, but he was able to basically kiss that blast zone and still get back. And it was like It was Taza and a bunch of other people through every single gravy cancel was like this Queen Nine defense, the Queen Nine defense. He stretches it. He stretches this Queen Nine defense as far as it could possibly go. He was able to utilize Queen Nine to the way that she should be utilized. He was stretching that defense. He was utilizing the strong strength that she has. He wasn't hampered by the speed, and he wasn't hampered by the dexterity either.
Well, stats work differently back then as well.
Yeah.
Like speed and dex are very different back then than they were right now. Like now, basically everyone says you have to have 5 movement speed at least. But back then, that really wasn't as much of an issue for Queen Nine.
Don't tell that to Brazil and the 2-speed Queen Nine.
Yeah.
Or Australia.
Or
Cake. Although Cake knows. He just does it.
Yeah.
He's just, okay. He just does it for fun. What were you saying, Boomie?
Yeah, I remember they changed that. Like, when around did they change that? Because I remember thinking that speed really didn't matter at all. Like, back when I started playing. And then I don't really remember when I, like, my mind, like, shifted.
I want to say it was 2017 because I know a lot of Queen Knives fell off, and then Pugsy picked it up, and that was when he was doing either it was when you could momentum dodge, and he was using that to give Queen Knight back the speed, or he was just using dashes very effectively. I can't quite remember what like roughly that was, but I want to say it was roughly 2017.
Well, Dash was like late 2017, right? Like
yeah.
That was shortly before BCX, like probably a month or two before BCX 2017.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like when it shifted to fast characters started winning everything. Because if you think about it, like BCX 2017 Lucian won, Winners NA 2018 Kaya won, and then it was like Ragnar.
And that could also be evolution of players of the game.
Yeah, well, yeah,
realizing how effective movement is. And in terms of everything, not just like, oh, I need to have movement speed to walk from this spot to this spot so that I can attack. Like you're using your movement as a weapon, as a bait, as a way to get from here to there quickly. So I think that's sort of just an evolution of how people are playing the game, in addition to how stances were changed, how stats affected characters, and everything like that.
So the one thing that I wish Challenge had back then, and I didn't document, was the legends that were being used. I like this mention she does this.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing this up because we were talking about Queen Eye, and LDZ made his big come up on Queen Eye. But what he like solidified as a player was when Koji was released. And not immediately when Koji was released. But like he was known by the time that he got his BCX wins. That was like his character, at least.
It actually like when you think about it, you think about the Queen Nai, you think about the Koji, you think about his Lucian as well. But going back through, and I want to give you credit, Taza, for the way that you labeled Gravy Cancel archives with the characters that people were playing.
Oh, I love that.
Because without Challenge, because since Challenge doesn't have legend picks on there, we would have had a huge lack of information. But going back, like his character pool was stupid big. Like, I don't think anybody at that time had maybe even as big of a character pool as LDZ did, playing very high. He was playing Vrax, Cassidy, Hattori, Koji, Queen Nai, Thatch, Diana, Ember, Scarlet, Ada, Roland. That's 11 characters that he was regularly winning tournaments with, which is insane.
Yeah, that's actually pretty incredible. And it shows like... what is it? I feel like LDZ would test or try a lot of Legends in matchups where he was like, I will win this if I play my main character, so I don't need to. It's actually incredible that the Legend count is as high as you said it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anybody that's wondering, Sparky's talking about the archives. That's a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
so you could look up Gravy Cancel archives, and it literally this era that we're talking about between 2016 and 2017, it has a lot of the matches that were referenced on it. If you want to check it out, not the BCS stuff, obviously, but
not only specifically his character pool being huge, but the fact that all of those characters are really diverse. It's not just, oh, he's playing every single gun legend or he's playing every single Qatar legend. Like Vrax, you have guns, Lance, Cassidy has the guns, but he's also playing hammer. Hattori has sword, spear. Koji has the bow. Queen Nai has Qatars. Thatch, Diana, Ember, Scarlet. We already counted the Lance. That's 7 weapons. That's 7 weapons. I don't know off the top of my head how many weapons are in the game, and definitely at that time there were fewer than there are now. But that is such a huge chunk of the game that he truly had raw mastery of.
I think that's every weapon.
At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's insane.
Yeah, like
that's like actually crazy.
Actually nuts. Because there is a lot of carryover from one legend to the next. That's why you see players like Boomie switches characters quite a bit. Players will have characters that they play in ones, different characters that they play in twos. Like everybody has somewhat of a character pool, but it's usually either 1, 2, or 3 characters. The fact that he's able to bring out so many different characters at such high level every single time, like that's so nuts.
Yeah.
Well, and wouldn't that indicate like that means that he was far ahead in something that wasn't character mastery. It was like movement in the game itself.
Yeah, exactly.
More than because if you can do that, like okay, Brawlhalla has more anyways, Brawlhalla has more of the more transferability between characters than any other game, I think, because of how it's designed. It's uniquely designed with how you have characters that have 2 weapons. No character has the same weapon combination as somebody else, but they can share weapons. Like we have our Lance Legends, we have our Hammer Legends, etc. But I still firmly believe that you need to put a significant amount of time in understanding how a character works with the stats they're given, the signatures they have, and the weapons that they use to be good with them. And so him being able to do that with so many characters, I get it. He's amazing. But I think that he wasn't practicing them individually. He was just implementing what he had learned originally and just moving it amongst all of them.
His foundation was rock solid, which means that he had a mastery of not just guns, not just sword, not just whatever character he was playing at that moment. He had a mastery of everything that Brawlhalla had to offer, and he was able to inject the little bits of that foundation into each character that he played.
Yeah. And 3 months after winning BCX, he won Winters with Diana.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and it looked like a completely different player.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Koji, he didn't even really like focus on the Koji until like 2 months before BCX.
Yeah.
Like that's how close it was. It was mainly the Queen Nai with the little sprinklings of the other 8.5 billion characters that he played. But he didn't even focus on that Koji that looked unbeatable until 2 months before BCX. Like that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So trying to think about how we got here. So we're really talking about like what stood him out and like what made him stand out among all these other players. Did he have anybody really challenging him in 2016?
Well, it was
there was
Pugsy.
But yeah,
And Twilight, I think.
Pugsy. He beat Twilight. Like they
Every
regularly
time,
met in grand finals, but it was heavily slated towards LDZ. Like overall, I think of all the ones gravy cancels that he entered, he won 9 of them and he entered 16.
What?
So he won over half of the singles gravy cancels that he entered.
Even when he was bad, like before he was good.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That he won more than half.
But before he was good, like his first gravy cancel was on that January 3rd, 2016. He got 9th. Then the next one was a couple weeks later on January 24th. That was his second gravy cancel. Again, 9th place finish. Then gravy cancel 8 in March 27th. This was like 3 months later. This is when like the reign of terror begins. This is when he starts winning. He 2-0'd Weaver, he 2-0'd Pugsy, he 2-0'd Jellyfish, he 3-0'd Twilight, he 3-2'd Pugsy. In less than 3 months, he went from not even top 8 to winning a tournament, only dropping 2 games in grand finals against Pugsy, in like Pugsy in his prime. And no bracket reset.
I remember this because it was GCS 07. Because he only had entered 2 GCSs at that point. It was the 3rd one and the 7th one. And I still wasn't even seeding him because back then, well, I can just go into it. I didn't have an ELO system. I didn't have any way that I moved things to. So
look, it was the early days. It's okay.
If I knew the player's name
before Smash GG.
Yeah.
If I knew the player's name, I seeded them, and I would just put them like, you know what? I think this player's better than this player, so I'll put them in this order. And that's how seeding was done. So if I didn't know them, you could just sign up at one time. I remember, and it was awful because you could sign up 30 seconds before the tournament would start, and there wasn't like a system at the time to like be like lock it out and then press start on the tournament 5 minutes later. So like there was a tournament where Crocky was like seed 106 or something. He signed up 30 seconds before like it was done. I was like, okay, seeding's done. Anybody who's important is going to be here. I don't have to look at it, but in those early tournaments, you'll see he's got like seed 50 or 46 because it was basically just the order that he signed up in. And then he was just unignorable. Like he would make crazy upsets, and now it's just like we have to put him somewhere, but where? And it just ended up being first because no matter where he was just winning, no matter what. And it was an instant turn. He didn't play in the terms in between. He just like started winning, and then it was like something in his head went like, well, I can't do better than first, but I can't do worse than first, so I have to get first. And then he just did it.
Dude, what's funny is that conversation still basically happens is people are like, LDZ hasn't participated in a tournament for the entire year, but do we really not seed him in like top X of the players?
Yeah, exactly.
This tournament is just, that's how dominant and how much of a mark he's made on Brawlhalla.
And speaking of which, this is jumping really forward, but he's attending tournaments again this year.
Yeah, that's
Final
what's so
rounds
scary. That's what's
is
so
next
scary.
week. And we look at that, and he's been playing the game again.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the ELO system, whatever results to put him in the top 4 or 8 people.
Yeah, he's seed 16.
Yeah.
Talking on that, he's 27th global PR. He's 21st in singles. He's 33rd in second. But what's crazy is he's second in total cash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's $3,000 ahead of Addy Mestic and only $9K less than you, Boomie.
Yeah.
The fact that he hasn't played in every single tournament and the fact that he's won BCXs, he's still number 2 in total cash earned from Brawlhalla. That's unreal.
And it's particularly unreal because Brawlhalla Esports wasn't exactly the most lucrative for players. Starting off at the beginning, 2016 and 2017, people were definitely like keep in mind when we talk about these Gravy Castle tournaments, there was what?
Nothing.
40
Nothing.
The reward was a community color code, which the person oftentimes just gave away to somebody in the chat. Like people were playing for clout, nothing else. Like that was it.
That was back when a Steam game was the prize, right? Like
yeah.
And people were like, yo,
yeah.
A Steam game, let's go.
Yeah.
Bad Rats, let's go.
$20 pots were very valuable.
Yeah.
People wanted that $15, dude. Like first and second place, 15.5. The best split you could imagine because most of the time they were just playing to play.
A friendly fire tournament for twos had a $300 prize pool, and everyone was like, "What? That's insane!"
Yeah. In the first like big tournament was the 3v3, I think, the booth 3v3, $900. Maybe that was after, but anyways, like that's not even really related because he did bad in that, but.
Well, yeah.
It's okay.
But I mean, there was times he was really bad at teams. But
yeah, he was
Why
so
do you think
bad.
he wasn't good in twos.
There's not 2 of him. Nobody thinks like him. Nobody thinks like him.
No. I remember.
You should know better than anyone, Boomie.
I remember asking him about this, and he just did not like thinking about twos. Like he didn't like thinking about having the teammate and the other people there. Like he just
it's too random.
He's an intelligent person, don't get me wrong, but he learned how to play the game away, and then when he went into teams, he was just kind of like, nothing that I know works here. And he just gets lost, and it's like a kid running off the side of a cliff.
So then how is he able to do so good with Steve in DCX?
Because
he woke up, dude. He woke up
like
from
his eternal slumber.
To a degree, Steve was considered a very good twos player.
Yeah, Steve was way better back then. Like
Steve
way better.
was a very strong twos partner there.
Was he top 3 in the world at that point? Like somehow both of them came together and the was just all of a sudden really good.
So I have this thought
I don't know how that happened.
That like because Steve at the time was very much known for like just like he could be playing on the top of his game or just decide he was done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And LDZ had the mental fortitude of I don't know what's the thing that never changes.
A rock.
A rock, whatever. Sure. So we got like a rock and then this fluffy stuffed animal that is at risk of tearing at the seams at all points in time, right? But for some reason, I think when LDZ saw Steve waning,
that's kind of brutal, Taza. Holy crap!
Listen, all right, it was bad at the time.
It was so bad.
Steve would just
I played with Steve.
He just didn't want it, and it would just like it's not even like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It would just be like he's going to make everything happen to make sure he loses. And I think LDZ would take that and go, "No, we can do this," and we do. It would take his mind off of whatever he was doing to compete and just try to focus on keeping his teammate in line. And for some reason, that like helped because when Steve bounced back, Steve was like a superhuman, and LDZ just had to keep doing what he was doing. and I think were Gauntlets at BCX.
Yeah, he played Val.
Yeah.
He played Val.
Yeah, and so like
Or
Steve
Core?
was pushing Gauntlets more than anybody else at the time, and he did so well in twos, and the ground pound's so volatile on that. So I think that there was that chemistry that you were talking about. Like LDZ, for some reason, benefited off of trying to worry about somebody other than himself, and that perfect teammate was Steve at the time. I think.
I wish that I could hear their comms from BCX 2016.
Yeah, that'd be
because
sick.
and I'm not super close with LDZ, but the times that I've heard him talk, I just don't see that coming from him. Something that would inspire another person, especially Steve, to reach his peak potential. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like somehow it happened. I wish I could be a fly on the wall and hear those comms and see what went through both of their minds at that time.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've played with LDZ, and there's like a certain, I don't know how to describe it, but like when you know someone's better than you, and you're playing with them, it's like you respect what they're saying more than you respect what you're thinking. And that's exactly how I felt. Like, if I would ever like start faltering and he said something, I'd be like, yeah, okay, you're probably right. Like, we can win. Stuff like that.
Back in 2016, when you were in Infamous, the clan, and LDZ was in the clan Infamous as well, like, did you know at that time, were you good enough to recognize that he was going to be really good at that time?
Oh, no. And at that time, I didn't even know LDZ. Because
really? Okay.
Before then, before he like really joined like Ren and stuff, or Vex, whatever.
Yeah, he was such a random.
He never talked. He didn't have a mic.
Yeah, he nobody really cared to know who he was either.
Yeah,
like he was definitely like that rank nutter that played Queen 9. You complained about the side sigs. But
yeah,
that was.
Yeah, like actually, that's what it was.
And then he just appeared. It was just like I'm here, and then everybody was like mystified. They were like, "Who is he? What does he sound like? What does he do?"
Yeah,
and you couldn't find these things out because he didn't talk to anybody. He just played.
We thought LDZ was egg soup for 3 months. I'm not even kidding.
So go into why that was. There's the smurfing in tournaments was like a big thing. And by smurfing, we just like entering with names other than your own on like fresh accounts.
Yeah, I think Dobrain did that. Dobrain did that.
There was one Gravy Cancel where someone entered under the name Definitely Not LDZ, and he didn't do very well. So I truly don't know if it was LDZ or not. Like, he didn't get DQ'd, but
no,
I think
it was LDZ.
He got like 6th or
9th
or something. It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just some stuff. There's some stuff that went on. I think that was like the towards the end of like what people could take for free tournament entries, and then people were like, okay, we're not gonna do tournaments without a prize pool anymore.
Yeah,
everybody was just set. There was an EU tournament that I casted where everybody went Ulgrim.
Oh my god, I remember that.
They didn't
so
approach
bad.
each other, and it just kept going to top 8, and then the joke was dead, and they just kept doing it. And I just remember going, I don't even want to host
another
tournament for this region anymore. It was so awful because it was just like once the money tournaments came out, people were like, yeah, we have to do this, and we don't have to do that. But that's a totally different. Back to what we were saying about LDZ, which was what I just escaped my mind.
He lost under the name Definitely Not LDZ. That's tragic, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because smurfing was a thing. So like
sometimes, yeah.
There would be random results where like you were like, oh, okay, this happened because this player was that, and you thought that's right. It was egg soup. You thought that LDZ was egg soup for a while because that was a trend.
Yeah, and he didn't talk. He didn't talk. We didn't know what he looked like. Egg never played. Like, he still doesn't play now, but like. And at that time,
he's
Egg
in the final round, isn't he?
Yeah, at that time, Egg was like arguably one of the best players.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, makes sense.
Dude, Egg Soup had the biggest fan base for how small Brawlhalla was.
Yeah,
like, he still does.
Yeah, he still has a huge fan base.
But but for then,
for then it was crazy.
It was enormous. It was just
he was massive for the game.
You had more people going into chat asking, when does Egg Soup play seriously?
Yeah, like now people do it unironically. Yeah.
Like
they did it so much that it became a joke.
I think he was the reason why Hattori became like there's an overpopulation of Hattori.
Yeah.
Because
not like all him, but yeah, like definitely. Also, yeah, we can say it's all him. Yeah, Egg Soup paved the way for the Hattori.
Egg Soup is the reason why Hattori is played.
Yeah.
Nobody even locked in Hattori before Egg Soup came into the game. Not even a single one.
I'm pretty sure he added her to the game.
Yeah.
It started out as a mod, and then
Ugh.
he got it into the game.
But it makes sense. I mean, he attended all of like the because Brawlhalla didn't have LANs at first. It had like events where they were showcasing the game, and he would like be there. I guess.
We went to
Showed-
final round.
Yeah, he went to final round.
And he
Yeah.
won. So.
Yeah.
2016.
But anyways, yeah. So LDZ was sick, came out of nowhere, and then people just accepted that he was a thing that existed. It wasn't like a slow burn thing. That's why I really wanted to emphasize on like he entered the tournament, did really poorly, entered one, almost won. Then when he won, he just kept winning. It wasn't even like, oh, we've seen this player coming up for years now, and now it makes sense that he's doing well. Like Phazon, for instance. We've known Phazon for years.
Yeah.
He's just now being sick as all hell when it came to Winters. But like that's an example of somebody that didn't just appear. He's been doing this for a long time. LZ just appeared.
Yep, it was like 2 or 3 tournaments where he got 9th, and then all of a sudden it was top 3, pretty much top 2, or mostly top 1 every single tournament after that.
Yeah, it was so crazy because he just came out and then he was instantly so far ahead of everyone. It's like unheard of. And like especially now, that would be unheard of if anything like that could happen again. And I think that's another thing like why it's so crazy that he came back and did so well at the World Championships.
At 2018?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and by the time like last year BCX was rolling around, it was like LDZ wasn't even in the discussion. Like he was like, there's so many so many players.
He was in the discussion because he was LDZ.
Because he was LDZ, yeah, exactly.
And he had done it before.
Yeah, yeah. But then he actually came and did it. That's the crazy thing. He came and got 4th in the most stacked tournament ever.
I think if Sandstorm wasn't in the way as early as he was, he would have gone to meet Sandstorm in Grands.
Well, he never played Sandstorm, but
he didn't? I thought he got knocked out.
Did he get double jeopardied by Wrenched?
I beat him in semis, and then he lost to Wrenched. Yeah.
For some reason, I
know
thought
he
that
lost to Wrenched in losers.
Yeah, dude, I'm the first person to ever beat LDZ on LAN. I'm actually crazy, dude.
I think I'm thinking about you when you lost to Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Winners. Okay.
Wait, no, you're not, because Addy beat Sandstorm.
No, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Okay.
Yeah, it's canceled because of the coaching I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you understand?
That's right.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
But that is really interesting that I don't think there's quite anybody else whose name carries the power
Yeah,
and
as much weight. Yeah, exactly.
that LDZ's does. Like even when he was gone, people are still talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was I don't want to say irrelevant because he wasn't irrelevant, but when he wasn't playing, people were still talking about him, and he was still a question mark of, oh, can he do this? He's done it before. Can he do it again? Nobody else in the scene who has fallen off either through bad placings or just not playing anymore, whenever they come back, they were never seriously considered like LDZ was. He was so unique in that fact, and I think it'll be a long time before anybody can say that.
Yeah, need someone to win 2 worlds. Like that's actually insane.
Yeah. I'm thinking that like did Sandstorm have like a close to similar origin story-ish sort of deal as LDZ did with his like all online tournaments into first LAN?
Yeah,
He
and
didn't dominate for a period of time. Like he won with the Brawl League.
Outplayer Dismay.
Yeah, Outplayer Dismay. And then he kind of just disappeared. And then like popped up, made like top 16-ish a couple times, but hadn't really won, and then just won BCX.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think something that we haven't talked about is LDZ actually comes from Smash 64. And he was a like I feel like he was kind of like a nutter in that game, but you know, don't tell him I said that.
But like I want to clarify that not Smash 64 with an N64 controller playing
with keyboard.
Locals. He would play with keyboard online
Yeah.
through NetPlay because I think Smash NetPlay was just then becoming really accessible for Melee and for 64 through emulators. And he never learned how to play with the controller properly. He played with his keyboard with his control stuff, and he then transferred over to Brawlhalla. So that very well could be like an explanation as to why he obtained the abilities that he did when it comes to his incredible neutral game.
And looking at one of the, because you provided a link with like every tournament on Challenge that LDZ entered, the last Super Smash Brothers 64 one that he entered, I mean, he got second.
There you go. So it just transferred immediately. And now that I think about it, Sandstorm
also comes from Smash.
Was coming from Smash 4.
Bro, Smash just warms you up for BH.
Yeah, essentially. Or at least provides you with the same skills and neutral that you need. And then when you're learning the new game, it just comes that much faster to you. I can't imagine how many, because there are actually more. There's a large number of pro Brawlhalla players that never played a 2D fighter. And I think that's important to consider, just as a note. There's not too many like, oh, these players were really good in their Smash game and then came over. That exists in like 2 or 3 instances.
Yeah.
Dobrain had never even played Smash before BH.
Nope,
yeah, same.
Never did.
Are there any other games that he's taken somewhat seriously?
LDZ?
Yeah.
League. No, he doesn't take League seriously.
You would know better than I would.
I mean,
no, I don't think LDZ takes anything other than those.
I mean,
too seriously.
Is he allowed to take more games seriously?
I don't think so.
I don't think we should.
I don't think he wants to either, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something to ask him. But I know that, like, when it comes to history, he has not.
Yeah.
Within the past few years, he's just played other things as like entertainment or pastime, but not like I want to win this. Like I know he's had that drive of I want to be the best at this. From how it was the most interesting, like, regret kind of frustration that he had at BCX 2018, and I had a short conversation with him afterwards of just kind of like he really thought he could win that tournament, and he wasn't feeling good about it. And that drive, I don't think exists in any other game other than Brawlhalla.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering what kind of effect losing BCX 2018 is going to have on him this year.
Yeah.
That's light a fire on him.
I am like terrified that he's gonna come out and he's gonna win. Oh, again, like he's just gonna be the best again.
The fact that he's going to a land that's not BCX is already a huge step that he has really never taken before.
Because he's been to 3 lands, 3 BCXs. He made first in 2 of them, fourth in the third one, and I absolutely agree. It's gonna be exciting to see him at final rounds.
Who does he have for? Well, I mean, I guess it's anybody, but like I forgot. Did you have a list, Boomie, of the people that are attending final round next week? That like are the heavy hitters?
Everyone.
You just remember like everybody in North America plus the 4 EU.
Yep.
Addy Cake, Dobrain, Daiku.
Yeah, and if you remember LDZ's bracket, he has Dobrain into me, into like a few other people. That's all I remember. But like, if he can make it through this bracket, and he like even if he places like super well, it's like he's on the map again. And if he starts practicing super seriously the way that he did, or like at least, okay, actually we never talked about that. At least he never really practiced.
Yeah,
he never really practiced.
That's a good
Which
point.
is funny because you tell me multiple times, Boomie, that like, oh dude, he's coming, bro. He's gonna play, dude. He's been grinding, dude. Because I ask you about it, like before every huge major tournament, it's always like, what the heck is he doing? You're like, dude, watch out, bro. He's coming.
He is.
But like at Winters, he got 25th.
Well, who did he lose to?
Hold on, let me maximize my window so I can see.
Sandstorm did really bad in Winters too.
He lost to Starlight and Kui.
Ooh.
Hey, we don't talk about the second one, but Starlight, dude, I played Starlight. Starlight was looking clean. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
I get it that it's winter championships after an extended off season, so there's always that kind of like growing pains getting back into the season, but he should have already felt that after losing BCX 2018, I would have expected a little bit better performance from him if he was going to take it seriously this year, which it seems like he is. And of course, there could be a million variables in there. Like he could have been busy that weekend. He could have had other things on his mind. He could have had more important priorities than specifically Winter Championship that weekend. So again, because his name carries so much weight, like we were talking about, even though he got 25th at Winter Championship, final round is still like, could he take it? There is no other player in the game that would have placed 25th in Winter Championship that we would be saying these things about
Yeah.
for final round.
And that's sort of the
I
focal
think-
point.
I think
Go
if Boomie placed 25th in Winter Championship, I'd still say it a little bit. Maybe not as much, but I think
I'll give you that, but that's because Boomie has a more consistent track record.
He also goes to everything.
Yeah.
And
That's right here.
when Boomie doesn't play well, it's because he's being Boomie. And,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
his
well,
brain
what is that
not
supposed to
getting about
mean?
stuff. I think you know exactly what that means.
You got something
Yeah.
to say, bro? Okay.
Man, I've said it in
I'm
the
pretty sure
past.
we've said it before.
Yeah, I know. I'm over it.
Uh,
LDZ has more hours. Okay, he has 26 and a half hours in the last 2 weeks. That's like 2 hours a day, give or
that's
take.
okay.
Yeah, that's more than Sandstorm.
I mean, has Sandstorm really been playing since BCX though? Like, I
No,
feel like he
he only
just
plays
straight
with
up
me.
hasn't played since BCX.
Yeah.
And you guys crushed twos, so that still looks good.
No, it doesn't. We lost the
Okay.
game.
That's true. I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know.
you lost a game to.
Wow, he has
Nick
more.
Ramsey.
He has more hours than Blood Diamond.
Do you forget LDZ? Cody Travis. That should be the subject of this podcast.
Oh yeah, dude. You
I've always
know,
got those.
we just
Okay.
played them like right before this started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 10-1, but you know,
Wow.
that's just how it is.
They're saving it for final round.
Yeah. I hope.
Yeah, I think we really hit it on the head when it comes to LDZ and his legacy and his continued legacy, I guess, and why this year is really cool because it's foreshadowing that he's going to be more involved. What's it going to do? Is it going to be 25th in every tournament like winners, and we just get to forget about the name, or is he going to be chanted by Twitch chats everywhere? You know, it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, I think this year is really pivotal for how his name will be thought of going forward.
Yeah, because like let's go all the way back again. What was it? Egg Soup and Pugsy were the screamed ones earlier on, right? When it comes to NA, like, and LDZ kind of squashed Pugsy, and Pugsy would exist, but not to the dominance of LDZ for a while. And then LDZ went forward, and then after LDZ fizzled out, it was Boomie and Remy and their twos dominance and their ones dominance, and then Sandstorm comes up, and he's like the new arc, but his arc looks to be ending really soon if he doesn't bring things back up again. And so now we've got all of these players that all have this potential, but haven't created the same scenario that LDZ has, and LDZ might just make the same story again, which would be really fun. And
Crazy.
exciting.
Yo,
Yeah.
but what if he like completely fizzles out? Like, what if he just like
That'd be so
He's
sad.
still a legend. Like he's still
would that
the
kill-
legend.
Would that kill his name to you?
No. In 2020, I'll be having the same conversation.
Yeah, it's like
I
this.
think-
This guy made the game. How we make it, like how we play
Yeah.
it now.
because the game was in such an early phase. I don't think there will be hardly anyone else that even has the opportunity, no matter how good they are, to do what LDZ did again. I don't think that is quite going to be possible with how the game is now.
At least not for a long time.
Yeah.
The only other scene I could think of where this is just now happening again after 20 years is StarCraft.
Yeah,
I followed that
Cyril.
a little bit too. Cyril in EU and Mario in Korea are doing things in their regions that nobody's done for a decade. And it might be a similar situation in this game too. Because at the beginning you had names like Flash. For people that aren't familiar, he was a Korean Terran, dominated Brood War for years, similarly to LDZ. And Flash retires for 5 years, comes back, gets top 8 in a tournament, and everybody's like, Flash, dude, he's going to win everything. It's the same exact scenario when it comes to LDZ. We might not have something like that again, but it's very exciting. It's so neat.
I'm really hoping he doesn't fizzle out. I mean, I would rather him just like hard quit and never enter anything ever
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
That's a
so
good
that
point.
like he leaves us wanting more.
Oh, man.
At
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily the top, the peak where he is, but he doesn't end in a valley because that would just
Yeah.
that would tarnish his legacy.
It's like
Yeah.
25th and 33rd and 49th, and then he's just like wearing
That'd just
weird
be sad.
tags. And then
That'd
he
just be
changed
sad.
his name because he doesn't want people to realize who he is. And
And then he starts commentating. Oh,
oh god,
That would be
Oh.
so sad.
Just what we need more Brawlhalla commentators.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not sure LDZ would make the best commentator.
Well, people develop.
Oh yeah.
Remember his interviews back in the day?
Oh my god.
Dude, I remember he
Man, a
was
few words.
the hardest person to get any sort of information. Like, you couldn't get an interview,
Yeah.
you couldn't talk to him, like, you couldn't, like, any information about him, he just did not want to exist.
Yeah, the LD Dad Secret Service was rough.
Which is
Like, just-
interesting because a lot of other players, when you see them doing well, I mean, no one's gonna talk out there like Daiku would, but like you see some buzz about them, and then you see buzz from them. Like you see the tweets, you see content being created, you see them talking, like you
Twitch
see them
streaming,
out in the
Twitter.
community, being a community member and a community person, and you just kind of didn't see that from LDZ. Like, yeah, he talked to the people that he was close to. He played games with people that he was close to, but he wasn't quite a public figure. He was kind of a mystery.
He
I
still
think that-
is, I
that
think.
fed into
Yeah.
him, though. That, like, feeds into the story. And
Oh yeah,
then,
of course.
like, that plus the fact that he disappears for a year, comes back to BCX and destroys, like, that just
Yeah.
feeds into this mystery of, like, who is this dominant kid?
Yeah.
No.
He's not even a kid anymore.
Yeah, he's 18 now.
Yeah,
Yep.
he started at 15, now he's 18. I mean, that's
18.
crazy, like, to think about.
And he still has that X factor. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
go away. Well, if anything, it's just been refined and
Mm.
now has a chance. But Sparky has that foreboding anti-prophecy. That 25th at Winners. The scary part is I didn't even realize he entered Winners.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't look that hard because he lost that early, and nobody talked about like the struggle or like, oh, he almost knocked out so and so. Like, no, he just
Yeah.
died. The second that he hit players, he died. I think that's a good summary of everything that we want to start with. I think we'll have more podcasts with the general history of Brawlhalla esports and things like that in the future. But I think that's a good place to lay off, Boomie, unless you had something else that you wanted to add on to it.
I don't know. Just cheer him on, like, next weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Final round. The first Brawlhalla LAN of
first.
2019 is happening next week. I think it's March 15th through 17th.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're all going to be there. Boomie's going to be competing, probably knocking LDZ out and ruining the entire point of this.
Yeah, that would be
Podcast.
tragic, actually.
No-
Not for me. Not for me. Would not be tragic for me.
It would not be tragic for you, but there's a possibility with how we looked at the brackets. We had those fantasy brackets in episode 0. If you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, I predicted I beat him, and then he plays me in grands. So, I have
Wow.
faith.
There it is. Boomie gets through it and then has to do it again.
Yeah, but what about
Um,
LDZ and 2s at final round?
Who is he teaming with?
Egg.
Probably Egg, yeah.
The first tournament since BCX 2017 that they'll be playing on
Okay.
LAN. On LAN. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe 9th on a good day.
Yeah, that's it.
That's tragic. Actually, no.
Were they-
You know they're
Were they
playing.
gonna play it 2018 when Egg couldn't make it?
Yeah,
yeah.
they're playing Double Fate, so maybe they can like
Didn't LDZ
upset.
end up teaming with Double Dime at 2018?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I think
'cause,
both Egg and
Cyclist. Yep.
got
Cyclist,
screwed over by the same storm because they live in the same city, and then
They were on the same flight, too, I think.
Yeah.
their abandoned teammates banded together, and they still placed pretty okay.
No, they didn't.
I thought they did.
Okay, you can believe that, dude.
Or did they win? I think they won a best of 3 that I did not expect.
They almost
Maybe
beat Cake and Addy, and I think
what
that's
I'm
it.
thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I
What if
said,
they would
Doesn't.
have?
Yeah. What if they would have?
They would have.
That would have been crazy.
Dude, everybody almost beat Cake and Addy. Cake and Addy are like the only team that like does this thing where they drop 2 games and then they win the best of 5.
Cake and Addy almost beat Cake and Addy. So yeah, everybody almost beat Cake and Addy.
But that's a conversation for
For
another
another day.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Duke and Sparky, for being on.
Yep.
Definitely would love to have you on for future discussion about just things that happened because we've all been around since the start. You 3 have been around longer than I have. I joined a little bit in after like the official release.
Yeah.
So we'll have more conversations about other players and things like that. Otherwise, do you have anything to say before we head out?
Follow me on Twitter at @whoissparky.
DukeXFam, DUCXPHAM.
I think you can find the Twitters underneath this. I don't know if I'm pointing. Am I pointing in the right
Yeah,
direction?
you are,
Is this
dude.
down?
Nice, dude.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
You must have done this a couple times.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. You know,
I'm Boomy
the first-
XD.
The first
Yo,
few
but
times
are
I was
your
like
mics
doing
unmuted?
this. Oh, jeez.
Mike's good?
Dude,
Yeah.
if the mics were muted this entire time, I'd I'm not.
Really? What?
Okay, hey, Boomie,
Dlight
signing
Sair
out,
episode
boys.
2.
Signing out.
Okay.
Podcast is done.